Boys, I got some crazy news. NVIDIA just gave me an early release of DLSS 4, and it's crazy, guys. Multi-frame generation. Do you want me to show you? I mean, I guess I could. And what better place than here in my garage when I'm making gains? Yeah, your dad don't look like that, bro. I'm making serious gains today. Let me show you what DLSS 4 looks like. And I'm pretty impressed, I gotta say.
Next generation technology. Look, you can't even see me.
What you say doesn't matter. Type all you want. No, silicon steak, fake frames, 5090s a ripoff. Shut up. Today we're gonna talk about DLSS 4, FSR 4, my thoughts on frame generation, my thoughts on some other things. And the only time I had today to film this was while I was working out right after I got off work. So I have paint all over me. I'm a painter, part-time painter. That's how I make money to buy cameras and PC parts. DLSS, okay, you see it all over the internet. People are hating so hard right now on AI. Everything AI when it comes to PC gaming, like fake frames. I get it, guys. Fake frames, we don't want that. Just tell us the raw performance numbers. When we first got upscalers in general, they're very, very looked down upon, right? Like DLSS 1.0, obviously it was garbage. It didn't look good, no one liked it. By the time DLSS 2.0 came out, people are still trashing DLSS, right? They're saying like this thing, I don't know, man. People are really skeptical of AI-based upscalers, okay? They just were. I remember at that time, they're like, what? I want native resolution, man. I want my pixels. And I get that. Like, consoles were the thing that had to upscale, not PC. We were higher class. Like, we are above those console gamers. They're peasants. We're up here, and they're down there. Like, they aren't on our level. Like, we're better than them because we spend more money, and we have more money, and we can mod and all that. So, I get it. I got it at that time point. But over the years, people have accepted AI-based upscaling. Like, it's just a natural thing. DLSS quality looks better than native resolution at 4K, I gotta say it again. And that's because it eliminates some of the TAA garbage, whatever. So, over time, people kind of, they accepted this upscaling technology. And now it's kind of like, yes, I need it. People choose NVIDIA graphics cards over AMD ones and Intel ones because DLSS upscaling is so good, right? It's a selling point now. And now we're on the point where, you know, FrameGen 1.0 or 3, whatever, DLSS 3 came out. For these first couple of years, people really don't like it. And I can see why. It's fake frames, adds latency, all these things. Even though I tried it last night, I loaded up Cyberpunk. I'm like, what can my 4080 get with path tracing upscaled to 4K? And you know, I wanted to see it. And first off, guys, I gotta say, Cyberpunk with path tracing looks insane. Like, crazy looking game. The lighting, path tracing is a must. Like, I see the light now. I see literally the light. I see the future of lighting, and it's path tracing. Honestly, I don't even want to turn on ray tracing anymore. If it doesn't have path tracing, I'm just gonna leave it off because that ruined all of the ray tracing for me. Path tracing looks amazing, but get back to performance. I tried this path tracing. To get over 100 FPS, I turn on ultra performance with FrameGen. And you might be saying like, what the? That's like upscaling from like 720p or 1080p, whatever. I get that, guys, but I'm gonna show you the image here on the screen. It looks pretty good. Like, I'm gonna zoom in, crop in, and maybe I'm a liar, maybe it looks all blurry, but I was like putting my face up to the monitor, and I'm like, okay, the edges look like really soft now, but it still looks detailed. Like, I could still make out details. And FrameGen made it feel smoother, although I did notice a little bit extra latency, but I liked it. And I can get why you would want to use it if you're using something like path tracing. So I think FrameGen, certain circumstances, FrameGen's awesome. Just gotta say that right now. FrameGen's awesome in circumstances. especially when it's the AI based one, because I tried FSR fluid motion frames when I had an RX 6800. Haven't talked about this on the channel, but I had an RX 6800 about over a year ago, and I played with the fluid motion frames and it was horrible. My screen was tearing, like things were adding up and I didn't like it. I haven't tried it since then, but maybe it's better. I think AI based is the solution here. We'll just talk back and forth, and I'm gonna get in a couple sets. I'll position the camera so you guys can see me working out as well. I've also tried FrameGen and Portal RTX, and I thought that was really good too. The implementation of it, it just makes it more smooth, but it does add a little bit of latency. You can feel it. It just feels like you're playing on like an older TV at like 60 hertz or something. Like 100 hertz feels like 60, but it looks like 100. So it's like, whatever. I think the base resolution, like I was getting 110 FPS when I was playing Cyberpunk, but I think the actual base frame rate without FrameGen was around 55, 60. So, you know, it felt like 55, 60. It still feels like that amount of FPS, but it looks better. So it's kind of a trade-off there. Like it looks better. Like if somebody was watching you play, they would just think it's like 110. But when you play it, the responsiveness feels like 55, 60, which 60 is still enjoyable for a single player game. It's fine. I wouldn't turn this thing on if I was trying to click some heads and top frag at the top of a leaderboard in like a multiplayer game trying to impress my friends or anything like that. But a lot of the times, if you just want like max fidelity, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. So here's the hoping the 9070 XT and RDNA 4 is really good at ray tracing, because if those rumors come out and it's actually on the performance level, you know, they're saying around a 4080 and ray tracing is close to there, that card is a banger. I just gotta say, I reserve the right to call that card a banger, and RDNA 4 may be good. It's monolithic. I love monolithic chips. They're fixing the issues with the chiplet-based RDNA 3, so who knows? But I gotta get back to my pull-ups here, and we'll talk in a minute. I really sincerely hope with my heart right here that these leaks are true. Like, I hope so, man. I hope this thing is on the level of a 4080 Super and it's only gonna cost $500-600. That's what I hope. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. I mean, it is a monolithic die, so it's gonna be fixing a lot of the hardware flaws with RDNA 3, and I think it's a good thing. For some reason, this thing was clocking like 3 gigahertz, over 3 gigahertz in the benchmark. Now, I don't know why we always assume we're getting such a high increase in clock speed. It didn't happen with Blackwell. It didn't. And it seems like we always assume this when we have a new generation. If this thing clocks at 3 gigahertz, it's gonna be insane. I think it probably will get close to 4080 super performance. We'll just have to see. But honestly, for the longest time, I'm just thinking this thing's gonna be maxing out around a 7900 XT. That's just like what the leak internal slide showed. But who knows? It could top frag. And if it does, AMD's gonna be back on the map. I'll say that right now. And I hope it happens, because we need good competition, guys. And also FSR4 benchmarks are coming out, or kind of like samples, and our Hardware and Box said that it's looking pretty spicy, pretty good. So, you know, I think that's a good thing. I think it's more competition. AMD will finally have an AI-based upscaler. That's gonna put them up there in recommendation territory for me. Another thing they gotta improve is their media encoders, which they have just paled in comparison to Intel and NVIDIA. And if they can get those up, even give us dual encoders, I will be recommending AMD. You have my word, Radeon. But we'll have to see. They kind of fumble the bag almost every time. Last time they really knocked it out of the park was RDNA 2 for me. I think RDNA 2 was awesome. Like, honestly, so much people are saying, I don't want fake frames. I don't want FrameGen. I just want native raster performance. If the 9070 XT is around the 4080, that could be the card for you. And you know, it's gonna have AI-based upscaling, probably AI-based frame interpolation, but if you don't want any of that, you don't have to use it. Like, that's totally fine with this thing. And you know, if it's got 16 gigs of VRAM available around $500 for that price, it's gonna be really good. And that could be the card for people that just want pure raster in their games. Although you may say like the 7900 XTX is kind of that card with more VRAM. But this one I think I would like better, because it's monolithic, and if it's on the same performance, I'd rather just have this for a less price. You don't need 24 gigs of VRAM. If you're just playing with raster, you don't. Just raster, 16 is fine for now, in my opinion. There's two ways of thinking when it comes to Radeon right now. And I don't know who's right, I really don't. either they gave up on gamers in the high end and they just don't care about Radeon anymore. They're just coming out with graphics cards to kind of meet the status quo. And that's been a major narrative within, the YouTube space for the past little while until, when they confirmed it's only gonna be mid-range. And I made this channel to question I made this channel so we could all have our own takes and so we could question the narratives around the internet, because it seems like TechTube in particular becomes like an echo chamber of this good, that bad. And I don't want that. I don't want my channel to be like that. This good, that bad, bigger number, better. Who cares? Like price, performance, each thing has their own use case. That's what I think. So I don't want to discredit RDNA 4 yet. With these benchmarks, they look really promising. And, I hope it's gonna do well. I hope it does. Hope we get more competition. As far as 50 series goes, hey guys, I might have been wrong about 5080 and below, but as far as 5090 goes, God, boys, it's a steal for what it is. Even if it was a 0% performance upgrade over the 4090, the VRAM alone makes it worth it, in the memory bandwidth. And it looks like an AI, it's like twice as fast. So, that's all you gotta know. People that want this for AI are gonna buy it in droves. And it's gonna feed the demand. Yeah, so I am cautiously optimistic about the 9070 XT and the 50 series. I'm gonna be really, really disappointed if the 50 series comes out and we get like 10% on the 5080 and 5070, because they don't have a lot more CUDA cores. Like, I wasn't thinking about that, because before, when I made my estimates, I knew they weren't gonna have a lot more CUDA cores on those two SKUs, but I thought the boost clocks were gonna be at like 3 gigahertz, and they aren't. That's the thing. Boost clocks this generation are a lot lower than everyone estimated for 50 series. Like, a lot of people are saying all these things are gonna boost up to 3 gigahertz. Well, it looks like some of them, especially like the 5090, got a clock speed regression. So as far as performance goes for things like that, it's not gonna be as good as we thought, right? And that's probably why the 5090 is around 30% instead of the 40% that I thought it was gonna be. And I'm starting to go back on what I said about 50 series. I'm impressed, it's pretty good, Well, okay. It seems like we're getting 30% performance, like raster performance across the board. At least that's what a lot of people are saying based on the NVIDIA official numbers. But I started thinking, I was looking at this, 4080 has like less than 10% more CUDA cores, and it's like the same clock speed, maybe like slightly faster boost clock speed. I'm like, how are we gonna get so much more performance? I don't get where we're gonna get 30% performance from that. If the 5080 is only like 10% or less more performance than the 4080, that's not gonna be good, guys. It is probably gonna be garbage tier, even with all the features and everything. So I get what you guys are saying. 5080 for $1,000 with barely any performance increase is gonna kind of suck. Now, if it's on the 4090 performance level, hey, that's pretty good. How can you really complain? Not too bad, okay? 4090, this is the last time I'm gonna say this, guys, at least for a little while. The 4090, most people that are gonna buy the 4090 are gonna use it for AI models, content creation, and they're gonna be making money from it. So it's actually a really good value, 32 gigs of VRAM, 5 media encoders for $2,000. That's really good. I don't need to really explain that anymore. It does something in the market that no other product does for that price. Simple as that, simple as that. 5070 Ti, probably the best GPU that was announced. Not much to say there, 16 gigs of VRAM, 750. I still like that, even if it's only on the level of like a 4070 Ti or 4070 Ti Super. I like it. On the level of a 4080. Hopefully it's on the level of 4080. 4070 or 5070. People get really upset with the thing with this GPU is, they're saying it's a 4090, which I was immediately, when I saw that, I knew they were talking about DLSS. I know NVIDIA's tricks or their marketing I think it's really easy to see through, at least for me. I'm like, yeah, obviously that's DLSS. I gotta say, the features add up, they add up hard. DLSS 4 multi-frame generation. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. That's the thing. If you don't like frame generation, no one's forcing you to use it, okay? Like I said, when it comes to path tracing, things that are really hard to run, I think it's pretty cool. When it comes to normal stuff, I wouldn't use it. And that's the point, you don't have to use it. Now, when games require it for minimum specifications like Monster Hunter World or whatever, that's horrible. you learn to optimize your game, okay? You are kind of what everyone's hating right now as far as developers go. So optimize your ding dong game, all right? If I took my hands off the mouse, cars passing by, it looked really good. When I played it, it did feel like there was a little bit more latency. It felt like around 50 FPS or so when I was playing. So to me, that wasn't so bad. Like, it feels like the resolution or the frame rate you would be getting, but it looks better. Like, to me, that's what it felt like. Like, sure, a little bit more latency, but it didn't feel a lot worse. Like, and I didn't notice a ton of artifacting. I could be straight up lying to your face right now. We can go back and post and look at it right here and see if there's a lot of artifacting. I'll put that on the screen, but to me, the frame gen looked nice. I wasn't focusing too much on pixel peeping, but at some points I did. I put my face up to the screen. I moved my mouse around a little bit and I didn't see tons of artifacting. 110 FPS, full path tracing, like max settings. Kind of crazy on my 4080. And I gotta say, it was one of the best looking experiences in a game I never experienced. Cyberpunk, man. I get it. I'm gonna finish the game. I just started it after this whole time. So it was on my Steam share. I haven't even bought it. One of my friends have it. And I just tried it. So enjoying that. 4080 is ripping that game apart, path tracing. And I gotta say, guys, path tracing, I don't even want to play any game with regular RT again. Path tracing is so much better. Like, path tracing is the king. I get ray tracing now. I get it. So what do you guys think, like, of this image? Because I'm starting to think here. I see almost every person in the comment section commenting on frame generation, and I'm starting to wonder, I'm like, how much of these people even own a 40 series card and even like have tried using frame gen based on like nvidias actual AI based frame gen? Because if they try to FSR fluid motion frames, I've tried that. Looked horrible, right? Looked horrible. And I've also tried lossless scaling. I saw somebody talk about that. Like, why don't you use lossless scaling, right? Lossless scaling has had frame gen. It's independent of your graphics card, like manufacturer. You can use it with AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA. And I even saw Vex bring this up today in his video, and I'm surprised, like, has this man even tried it? Like, I've used that thing, it was garbage. Frames just tearing all over the screen. Like, one half of my frame on my screen is like a gun and the other half is like my reticle, and it just looks horrible, horrible. Lossless scaling, fluid motion frames from what I've tried, especially lossless scaling. Lossless scaling was way worse. Horrible. I got it because, I play a little bit of emulated games. They're locked at 60 FPS, and I'm like, I want 120, and I tried it in them, and it was okay, but still a lot of artifacting, like way worse than DLSS frame gen. DLSS frame gen, from my eye, like minimal artifacting, like around things that move like barely, like it's like shimmering around the thing that moves. But like with this, it's like cutting off completely your character when it moves. So really bad. And also it like interpolates like your UI, like lossless scaling. So that sucks too. Fluid motion frames, not very good. The lossless scaling is horrible. So those two things, like, not good at all, guys. So if you tried those and you think that's what frame generation is, it can be a lot better than that, okay? Until you've gotten a 40 series card and tried frame generation, like, actually for yourself at a base resolution of 50 to 60 FPS, you don't really know how good it can be, okay? So it's not absolute garbage like everyone on the internet is saying. Like, I don't want to just have the same opinion as everyone else on the internet, okay, guys? I want to have my own opinion on this channel. We speak our mind, and we don't get banned. We just speak it out. You either get liked, disliked, and called out for your take. So that's what this channel is all about. This is the only time I think it's viable, when you're path tracing. That's the only time. Like, I don't want to use frame gen when I'm just playing my game normal. Like, it would be viable also if like your graphics card is super weak and you can only get to 60 FPS. Sorry, there's like some hair. I'm not promoting frame gen. I'm not saying NVIDIA is just for giving us false advertising or anything like that. But, at least they're trying to advance, give us some sort of advancements. Because if they just gave us a 30% FPS boost and no other features, like, that would be a lot more lame than giving us all these other features. Like, you don't have to use frame gen, guys. You don't have to. And if you do in a game, if it requires frame gen in a game, well, then we know PC gaming truly is dying if they do that. If frame gen is natively built within a game and you cannot turn it off, GG to PC gaming, bro. Because you're gonna need a 4090 to run everything. It's gonna suck. They get your, what is it called? is this muscle, your traps. Like, why couldn't I think of that? Get your traps big. Yeah. This is not AI, man. This is the real deal, okay? I got nothing on Red Gaming Tech, bro. That guy is massive. Don't quote me on that. Okay. My thoughts in summary, okay? Frame gen ain't as bad as people say. It's not horrible, okay? It's really cool to use it with path tracing. I was kind of blown away with the FPS I was getting, or the fake FPS, whatever, with path tracing. I mean, the lighting was insane, boys. Like a guy was sitting under like a ramen noodle shop. I could see the daylight on the back of his head, the blue light from like a lantern on his head, and then like a red light from like flames like on his chin, like all there. And the lighting really boosted it. And I was playing in HDR, that's kind of important too. I was playing in HDR with my mini LED monitor, so I had brightness turned up to the limit. Like that thing is like 1200 net peak brightness, and you know, path tracing. It was cool. It was cool. So also, if you never even use FrameGen with a DLSS card like a 40 series, I mean, you can comment on it, but like your opinion doesn't hold much weight to me. Like, I'm just saying, your opinion doesn't hold a lot of weight. You've never even tried FrameGen in all of its glory, and it's not super glorious, but it's somewhat okay. Like, theirs could be much worse in games. TAA, for example, is pretty bad. So I wonder if I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video. I just don't like conforming to the word of like social media. Here, let me adjust the camera. I just don't like conforming to social media and what everyone is saying. Like, I don't want it to be an echo chamber on this channel. I don't want to just say what everyone else is saying. I want to be different. And I don't want to be different for just being different. I want to be different because it's my opinion and I'm weird. So FrameGen, whatever, 9070 XT, hopefully it slaps. Hopefully it kicks around the competition and, you know, makes NVIDIA come out with a refresh next year that can give us maybe 3 gigabyte modules, 50, 70, 16 gig, very much, maybe 50, 80, 24 gig. That would be pretty spicy, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of me talking about this computer hardware stuff while just doing my life? I don't have a lot of time always, and I want to make more and more videos. Like, I want to make like 4 videos a week. I don't know if I can do that, but I think it helps a lot when I just film myself doing everyday stuff and talk to you guys, get my thoughts out throughout the day. And with CES coming out, there's so much to talk about. It's kind of easy. So just let me know. Do you like me walking around doing my stuff and talking to you guys about this? Or do you like me just sitting in my office in a chair, standing still, with the silicon wafer in the background talking about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed just listening to my ramblings, maybe you liked my take, don't forget to give me a super chat. Really helps out, donations, all that. But yeah, path tracing is a modern feat of engineering, guys. I don't think you realize the complexity of what path tracing is doing. I mean, all these rays of light in a simulated world, it's the Matrix, okay? And we're accurately calculating the color and like the densities and the smoothness of all these objects in real time. And a lot of people are saying like 40, 50, 90 only gets 28 FPS at 4K path tracing at native 4K. Like, I don't think you realize how much computation power is going on within that. And if you can upscale, like they say, you know, you can get to 200 or something FPS with DLSS 4. Well, think about what you could get to with like DLSS performance, like upscaling from 1080p. It would probably be close to 65, maybe 70 FPS if you got DLSS performance on there. So I don't know, that's pretty crazy because at that point you aren't even doing FrameGen and you're getting like 70 FPS upscaled to 4K with a 5090. Pretty crazy. I don't think you guys realize what path tracing is. Have you ever played a game upscaled to 4K at least with full path tracing? If you have not, then you really don't understand how crazy this really is and how just insane the feat of the 5090 is. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the card. I'm just trying to say, like, I feel like some of these people are kind of uneducated on what it takes to actually render these pixels. They just think FrameGen bad, fake FPS dismissed. And I get it, you know, you don't have to turn it on if you don't like it, but in my opinion, it's kind of cool what we're able to do with AI now. And just think about what we're going to be able to do in the future. I mean, I'm going to be an NPC walking on my, like, what if I could make like myself as an NPC and upload videos, like get him to upload videos for you, but like it's like a deep fake, so you can't even tell it's not me. I just give him like this, talk about, you know, the 6080 or whatever, and he does a whole video and I just sit back and relax. Like that would be kind of cool. Just kind of crazy stuff AI is going to do in the future. It's going to take all of our jobs, and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for the future. I embrace the future, embrace new tech. That's who I am. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have you tried path tracing in all of its glory? Have you tried FrameGen on an RTX graphics card? Because it's something different. It's not like lossless scaling or fluid motion frames. It's way better, okay? I'm not saying it's perfect or anything, but I think it's a lot better. I've tried both of those other ones and I thought they were garbage. So let me know in the comment section down below. Donate if you thought the video was great. And yeah, Silicon Steak signing out. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Every review, every spec, he's on deck. From GPUs to CPUs, he knows it all. No question too big, no detail too small. He's got the knowledge, he's got the skill. When he drops his take, the haters stand still. Fanboys can cry, but they can't deny.